What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Mind of a Madman. My name is Ruben, aka The Madman. Today I have a quick little review for an app that I'm sure people, if you haven't heard about it, you've probably been looking for if you're the bigger gamer as I am. This is the Citra 3DS Emulator for Android-based devices. Now, I am using this on my Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and I'm recording myself with the built-in screen recording application. Now, I'm just going to be showing a quick review of how well the app works. I recently reinstalled it. I believe it's a new version compared to the alpha build I had originally that I got directly from Citra's website. This is a 3DS emulator built for Android devices. It works very well on phones and tablets as long as you have a device that can handle it. Now, I am using, again, the Note 20 Ultra from Samsung that has a powerful processor, the Snapdragon 865 Plus, with 12 gigabytes of RAM. That definitely does help with the smoothness and control of the device, as well as the sound quality you're going to hear once I start up the game. The game I'll be using to show this off is obviously Pokemon Ultra Moon. Now, I do have a few other versions, a few other ROMs, I could use for this, but I wanted to just put one ROM in for the moment so you can see very easily what I'm doing, where it's coming from, and there's really no questions of what I tapped. Before I begin, I will say this game I do personally own in the actual cartridge form, and the backup I'm playing is a dump of that cart. If you do not own games, I do recommend only using games that you can back up personally for two reasons. One, downloading 3DS games in particular can be rather sketchy. You don't know what you're downloading exactly and from where. You can very easily get viruses and malware on your phone as well as your computer that you just don't want to mess with. Secondly, of course, for legal reasons, if you do not own the game, you do not have a right to have a backup of the game, and you can get yourself in some legal trouble if it ever gets backtracked to you. I have heard stories about people who have downloaded ROMs from certain sites and receive letters from their internet service providers saying, we saw you download this, we're going to either fine you, fee you, cut your internet connection. They can do quite a bit. There are ways around being seen by that, but it's just usually easier to say, if you own a game, then you can back it up and play that on your devices. I, again, cannot condone or recommend downloading them from sketchy sites because you can get yourself in some trouble or damage your personal devices. That being said, I have tried a few of my 3DS games that I've dumped on this emulator, and they've worked quite well. There are some bugs still. You will see intermittent crashing, which I hope we're not going to see during this video, but I will say that up front. But for the most part, I've played quite a few games, quite well into them, in fact, with no real issues. Maybe a few slowdowns here and there, but we'll get to that if we have to in this video. I am going to use my SteelSeries controller, which you can map to this emulator. I'm doing that mostly because you do have touchscreen controls, but they can get in the way of recording a video, and I want to keep myself as centered as possible and make sure the audio quality comes out the way it needs to, with my microphone sitting off to my right. With that being said, I'm just going to start up the game. Hopefully we don't get any crashes here, and let's see what everything looks like now. So as you can see, you already see the overlay there, and that's one of those crashes I was talking about. It can happen on occasion, but I'm going to load it up again, and takes a couple seconds usually to load, and there we go. Now, as you can see, you see the main game here. I have removed my save files from the folder. I do have a save file, but I wanted to start from the very beginning to show you the functionality of the menus. Again, I'm using a controller to control everything on the screen. And you'll see in the upper right-hand screen, that is a small little box for the touch screen. Now, I can go into settings and turn off the screen overlay, but I just want to leave it on while I started to make sure you can see what it looks like if you're not using a controller. So I'm going to turn that off so you can see just the game on screen as well as my beautiful face in that little bubble there. So I'm going to start the game up, and we're going to begin as normal. First thing I'll definitely point out, with most emulators, especially ones that are not the best quality, you get a lot of audio drops, really bad static when it comes to the gameplay music. But with this one, especially since I reinstalled it, I've seen very few issues concerning that. Only on one game have I seen it, was in Dream Drop Distance in Kingdom Hearts. That game is quite powerful, and you'll see it here. Just now you saw a little bit of static, but very, very little. I do believe I'm getting a little bit more errors than normal because I am recording at the same time of doing this. I'm hoping my audio is coming out clear despite the game music. I'm actually going to turn that down just a bit. So that should be a little better if you couldn't hear me before. Again, you're seeing a little bit of glitching here because of the fact that I am recording at the same time. When I'm playing this game or any game without it, I very seldom see things like this. But I'm just going to get into the actual gameplay so you can see what's going on with this emulator. It is quite responsive, even with the touchscreen controls. It works just as well as I would say playing on a 3DS for most games I've tried. Again, some games like Dream Drop Distance can be quite taxing on the hardware, so you may see some issues there. But for the most part, I'm seeing consistent frames. I didn't want to run my overlay that shows frames per second that I have installed on my phone. I figured with the screen recording and the emulator running, that could cause even worse graphical issues. But considering what we're looking at here, a 3DS emulator, which was one of the hardest Nintendo consoles to ever make a working emulator for, the fact that the sound is consistent and the video is mostly consistent even with the screen recording going, this is quite impressive. So every time I press the A button, it is going forward. It's not delaying at all. You can see here that I can easily scroll through, make any changes. That does not look anything like me, but I'm just going to use that for the moment. My actual character looks a little closer to my complexion, but I also have a pretty thick facial hair, so no matter what I do, that's going to be a little bit different. Now, the cool thing is about this, you can really run the game as if you were playing on the official hardware. But if you also want to go with the best parts of emulation, you do have a lot of those features, which I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to get this part going so I can get to the right places to show you the right things. Fade is just if you're wondering, that is one of my nicknames I used to use for video games when I was a kid, and it kind of stuck with me specifically for Pokemon games, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit of the menu here, and let's get into the game, and you can see some of the other features that I was speaking of. Full disclosure, this is the free version. There is a paid version that costs $4.99 from the App Store. Now you can go for that extra features, and I'll show you what those premium features are as well. Hey, what's up guys? I'm just jumping in here as part of the video because I realized as I was editing I did not show you the premium features available for this application. Just wanted to give you a quick look at that. I said I would and I completely forgot, so I'm just going to jump in and do that now. This is the premium menu. It is again, $4.99 upgrade. I have not restored my purchase again, so I can show you what the premium features are and what the app looks like and the free version, so anyone can try this version out. First, of course, is changing your theme to between a light and dark function. The second is a little bit more advanced, a texture filter. You can apply extra textures. Now, certain games look better with third-party textures, like from Anime 4K. They can make your game look a lot cleaner. So you can apply them in this emulator if you have the premium version. So all you have to do is, obviously, what you saw, go into menu, tap on premium, and if you select either of these options in the free version, it'll take you direct to a purchase page. I will not do that here because, again, I already own it, and if I do that, it will automatically load up my paid subscription. I didn't want to do that for two reasons. One, I wanted to show the free version, the one that everyone can get at any time, and two, if I tap that button, it probably will pop up with the Google Play page that will show you the my payment information, which I'm keeping private for obvious reasons. But besides that, that's what you're looking at in the premium features. The free version is what you're seeing in the main video. So I'll get back to that right about now. I do own the paid version. I'm just currently not using it because I want to show everyone the free version of the app. So whatever you might get, you're going to find it the same as what you're seeing on my screen. So we're into the first cinematic, and you see there's a little stuttering, but again, I do feel this is coming from the screen recording going on at the same time. I very seldom see any graphic glitches like this. And if I ever do see anything like this, it's coming during cutscenes like you're seeing right now. But let's just go into some of the features. I'm not really here to show off the game because I'm pretty sure you know what Pokemon looks like. If I swipe down and tap on the sandwich button or the three dots or whatever you want to call it, this does have amiibo support, which is one of the most impressive things I've seen thus far. You can, if I go into amiibos, you can load and remove amiibos. Not just the hardware ones through NFC if your phone does support it. If you use an app like Tagmo to record the bin files from the amiibo itself, you can actually store the file in your phone and load them in directly. Now, if I go back, I'm going to swipe here. You can change from landscape and layouts. I can show FPS with the overlay I mentioned before, but I feel that might be a little bit too much and the emulator would crash more frequently. The swap screen option allows you to make the actual playable screen smaller and off to the right if you have it in landscape, or top and bottom switching if you're playing it in portrait mode. Configure controls, obviously, that's something you're used to if you know emulation. But if you look here, this is one of the best things you can have. One thing that I wish Pokemon games, games besides Pokemon gave you is save states. Games like Kingdom Hearts in particular are ones that don't really give you this feature. You have to go to a specific save point, but just as simple, quick save, and it tells you not to rely on save states because there are files that can get corrupted or accidentally deleted from your phone, but you can simply just make a quick save. And now if I want to go back to it, I just go to load state, slot 1, and it takes me back to that same point. Now, again, this emulator is out of beta, I believe. I think it's still in beta testing coming from the App Store. It's out of alpha. And from the alpha build to the beta build, it has greatly improved. And I know that if the developer is still working on it, we're going to see even more improvements. Full disclosure, again, you will need a fairly powerful phone to make this work properly. I tested the alpha build on my Galaxy Note 9, which is running the Snapdragon 845. This is the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, running the Snapdragon 865 Plus. I have also tested on the LG Velvet, which is a newer phone. I also tested on the LG V60 ThinQ, both of which are running powerful processors that can handle this to the most part, but I can say they do have more slowdowns and graphical issues on those devices than on my Note 20. So if you have a weaker Android phone or tablet, I can't speak to how well it will work. If you do have a weaker tablet, I could recommend other DS emulators like Drastic, if you haven't heard of it. That worked quite well on even older phones that I've had in the past, as well as very basic tablets. But Citra does need a good amount of power to run properly. That was not frozen, I just wasn't pressing a button while I was talking to you. But as you can see, as I'm in the cutscenes, you're still seeing those graphical bugs. I'm hoping that I haven't tried recording everything while actually playing a game before, so I'm hoping that it will kind of clean up once the gameplay starts, because usually when I've seen the graphical bugs before. But we're still waiting here. We're still in the beginning cutscenes. If you've played this game before, you know that the first intro is quite long. So we're trying to get past that just so I can show you how well it controls once the character is in motion. Because a cutscene can play well, but when you're moving, it can get some slowdowns in other emulators. And in my experience, we're not going to see that here. But let's get past it here. And it seems like we're about to be in control, and here we are. So we're now in control of our character. As you can see, unfortunately, the graphical bugs are still happening. Again, I do feel that's coming from the screen recorder, and obviously recording my own face within the screen recorder. But hopefully you can see clear enough that the motion is quite smooth. This is just another cut-in, obviously without my face in this picture, but this is just me showing the video of the game playing without the screen recorder going on the screen, just so you can clearly see that there are no graphical bugs. So I was correct. The graphical bugs we were seeing were coming from the fact of using the screen recording app at the same time as the game and emulator running. You saw me there for a second in reflection. I'm using another camera here just to get a little bit of a view to show how smooth the game is running. I'm going to let the audio play a little bit so you can hear. I'm actually going to turn the volume up so you can hear how clean the audio is, just because I know in the screen recording you were seeing a lot of bugs coming up. So give me 1 second. I'm going to turn the audio up on the phone. And that definitely sounds exactly how I would say it sounds on the 3DS itself. So there you go, just a quick little minute to show you the game playing without those graphical bugs, so you can see that I was 100% when I was saying it runs exceptionally smooth. Characters are speaking without an issue. There is no delay in input. Now, we really don't care too much about delay if it's minor, maybe a few millisecond delay in a game like Pokemon, because it is turn-based. You don't really have to worry about fast action. What I really test this on, and I might do another video on it, is a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. That is an action game. You do have to have precise movements and actions. I just didn't want to overtax the emulator and have it crash more frequently, which I believe it would with the screen recorder. Pokemon seems to be the most stable game I can show this off on. But we're going to get past the words, and it looks like, again, we're in control. So I'm going to show you here that there is no input delay at all. As soon as I press down, I start moving, press up, I turn around, left and right, with no issues. I think that was right and left, but you get the point there. So right now, there is nothing on the second screen in the top corner because we haven't gotten to that part of the game yet. But this is just to show you quickly that everything is fully functional and working well. I can also use the options button you see there, and if I touch the screen on my actual phone, it does actually work the way the touchscreen on the 3DS would work. So there you go. This is just a quick little video talking about the Citra emulator. If you haven't given it a try, it is available on the Google Play Store. This takes a few minutes to download and give it a shot. Again, if you're going to play these, make sure you're playing apps that you personally own. But with that being said, this has been Mind of a Madman. My name is Ruben, aka The Madman. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Anything else you want to see from this. I may do some more emulator reviews on this device as I have gotten big into emulation all over again. I did find a lot of my older games that I've been dumping onto my computer from PSX to PS2, PS3. PS3 emulators, I actually found one that's pretty interesting, and I might do a review on that. Of course, it won't be on the phone, but you will see it if I do decide to make that video in the near future. If you want to see more emulation videos about different emulators for your devices, let me know down in the comments. But until then, this has been The Madman, and I am out. Peace.